Now we're going to see the frontal lobe. Here we have the frontal lobe in the lateral surface, here on the medial surface, here on the basal surface. The frontal lobe has 4 surfaces: the lateral, medial, basal, and the other is called the Sylvian surface that is in contact with the Sylvian fissure. So here. So in the lateral surface, we have 3 gyra and 2 sulcus longitudinally. So here we have the inferior frontal gyrus. Medial frontal gyrus is this. It has a superior and inferior part, and this is the superior frontal gyrus. So the superior frontal sulcus is this, and separates the superior and middle frontal gyri, and the inferior frontal sulcus separates the middle and inferior frontal gyrus. Then the inferior frontal gyrus has in the most anterior part 3 areas. We have the pars opercularis because it's adjacent to the opercular part of the frontal lobe or the operculum, that is the frontal part that is just above the Sylvian fissure. Then we have the pars triangularis and the pars orbitalis. The pars triangularis has like a shape of a triangle, and its apex is pointing to the junction of the thummus of the Sylvian fissure that are joining. So it would be like here, and this marks the anterior margin of the basal ganglia and the frontal horn of the lateral ventricles. In the lateral surface, we also see this is the central sulcus that divides the frontal from the parietal lobe, and sorry, this is the central sulcus, and the precentral sulcus is the precentral gyrus is this, the motor cortex, and in the middle frontal gyrus, we have the frontal eye field that is Brodmann area 8 and controls the movement of the eyes. Broca's area, that is Brodmann area 44 and 45, is the pars triangularis and pars opercularis. In the basal surface, first in the medial surface, it is mainly composed of the medial surface of the middle frontal gyrus. The inferior frontal gyrus is at the level of the corpus callosum, and the other part that is in the medial part is the anterior part of the paracentral lobule. The posterior part is in the parietal lobe. And we have the cingulum. This is the cingulate gyrus. This is the corpus callosum. This is indusium griseum. And we have a 2 gyri. One is the paraterminal that is continued with the indusium griseum, and the paralfactorium gyrus that they are both separated by the posterior paralfactory sulcus, and the paralfactory gyrus is separated from the anterior part of the frontal lobe by the anterior paralfactory sulcus. So this was the medial surface. Then the basal surface. The basal surface has 2 main gyri. This is the olfactory tract and olfactory bone. So let's zoom this part. Here we have it. This is the olfactory tract and olfactory bone. Medial to this is the rectus gyrus, and lateral to this is the orbital gyrus. So all this is the orbital gyrus, and it is divided in anterior, medial, lateral, and posterior. The divisions are made by the orbital sulcus, this and has kind of a H shape. So more or less would be something like this. So this would be the anterior, medial, posterior, and lateral sulcus. Yeah. So the anterior part is delimited by the transverse segment of the orbital sulcus. The posterior segment extends from the transverse part of the orbital sulcus to just anterior in the, or just superior to the anterior perforated substance over here, and the basal ganglia, the corpus callosum, internal capsule are above it, and the lateral sulcus, lateral part, or lateral orbital gyrus, this one is lateral to the orbital sulcus and is in contact, or would be in contact with the pars, here, with the pars orbitalis. And then the medial orbital gyrus is just medial to the orbital sulcus and lateral to the rectus sulcus, that is the, or olfactory sulcus, that is the one that separates the rectus gyrus with the orbital gyrus. So we have seen the lateral, medial, and basal surfaces of the frontal lobe. It has 4 surfaces. The other one is the Sylvian fissure, the Sylvian face or surface that we would see it when we see specifically the surface of the temporal and frontal lobe in the Sylvian fissure.